disappointed in myself that I don't get to talk about some stuff tonight like I wanted to.
Yeah. We
But,
did get to talk about the women's division, though.
huh?
I
What'd you
said we
say?
did talk about the women's division.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just one of them weird nights for the show.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it's because we were so pumped up to talk to Joe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And with all my fucking internet problems and shit, I was so pissed off. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know it. Of all fucking nights for everything go haywire.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. I wanted to have Joe come on because I wanted to talk to him about shit. People probably asking fucking crazy questions all the time. But I just didn't want to talk about wrestling. I wanted to talk about music and his career in the music business and stuff like that, and playing local shows. I wanted to talk about like his backyard stuff because I mean,
Yeah.
Joe don't strike me as a type of person that just gave up on his dreams or anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't know if he got hurt or what the situation is, but
Son, I got raped.
Cause he got raped.
What's up?
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
I'm doing great now. Got the one and only Joe Cronin on, man.
Hey man, I'm doing good. I just ate a bunch of pizza. I feel all horrible now.
Shit, man. I got a fucking bowl of chicken rice from Chipotle inside. I just haven't fucking ate it yet because didn't want to get up and I don't know, or maybe it wouldn't react with my stomach too well after all that whiskey I drank.
You gotta be careful with the Chipotle now. You never know what the hell's gonna happen. People's butts are exploding everywhere because of that stuff.
And aren't they getting like salmonella and shit too?
Yeah, there's like salmonella and food poison. Just all kinds of crap. I mean, I guess it could happen anywhere, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with them. I don't know why that is.
I know they had my mom's boyfriend. He was like one of the owners of a Chipotle restaurant, and he said that they had to close down a couple of their stores because of that. Not because their store is the store that had the salmonella and all the food poisoning stuff, but because so many people just did not want to eat there and refused to eat there that they were just, they had to do something. So shutting down for a little bit to have a better reopening was probably the best way to go.
Yeah, start over again. People forget. And people don't care. I work with people who are like, "Oh, I can't wait to go to Chipotle." I'm like, "What are you talking about? You want to go there?" And nobody cares. Nobody cares until they see someone, throwing up in front of them and convulsing, going to the hospital. They don't care.
Yeah, the people that are really excited to get a McRib when it comes out.
Yeah, I want to go eat and poop. Let's go.
It's like I don't even want to eat it. I just want to take it and look like I'm eating it, and then just drop it right in the toilet.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well,
what's the deal? What are we doing? Are you guys live right now or something? I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, we've been live for about an hour now, just bullshit. We wanted to talk, some wrestling and stuff, but I didn't really want to talk wrestling with you, man. I was telling Mike, because Mike's on here too. My buddy Mike Berlin's on here.
What's up, Joe?
Hey man, what's going on?
Not too much, man.
I really wanted to talk I really wanted to interview you, dude. Like that's, you know me, man. I've been a huge fan of you for, I don't know, close to, what was it? Going on like a year and a half to 2 years now?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I really wanted to, say fuck the wrestling talk and kind of talk more about like, maybe not too in depth in your life, but just maybe some more like life and personal questions, or not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I'll do whatever.
Yeah, like I was actually telling Mike, we were talking before this about how I've always been kind of heavily involved in music and stuff like that, playing shows and playing with big bands and doing this most of my life. And when I saw that you were that you played drums and that you did vocals and stuff like that, I kind of felt like this weird connection with you, because it almost seems like besides going through wrestling school and the other stuff that you did, I feel like me and you had like a real connection when it came to like the music stuff, because all the stuff that I feel like that maybe that you've done, I've kind of done myself. Like, when did you first start playing music?
Leah just walked up and slapped me. I don't know why. The hell? I don't know what that was about. No, yeah, I have. Like that's interesting. Yeah, nobody asked that stuff. So yeah, no, when I was, I would say I always liked music and stuff. Like the wrestling and music thing kind of went together, and movies. All this. I'm just in anything that's entertainment. So, but yeah. So in fourth grade, I would bet from second, third, especially second, third, and grade, I would bang on stuff with like pencils. Like I would bang on the car, and
Yeah.
like I would really do it to the music and stuff in the car. And my mother was like, "All right," and she got me a drum set. And so I would like, put the tape deck with like Aerosmith or something that I listened to at that time. Like, oh, in fourth grade, I was listening to like Aerosmith and The Who and like Salt and Pepper, like, like it's just, and like I like Peter Gabriel, like all that's like there's lots of stuff that was just random stuff that was mainstream. I hadn't really figured out what I really liked yet, but I liked that stuff, and so I started Metallica, Guns N' Roses were big, and
Yeah.
I like Nine Inch Nails too. Although I really hadn't discovered them as much, but I was more like I liked them when I heard them, but I didn't understand how to actually buy an album or something. But anyway, I would play the drums there, and so then in school I took drums for like a second, and I didn't like it because it was just a snare drum, and I hated that. Like I didn't want to just play the snare drum. I didn't want to learn the drum sheet music yet. It wasn't my thing, so I basically switched to trumpet. So then I started playing trumpet in band class. So I played trumpet for a while in school, and then at the same time, like I would meet people that played guitar and stuff. A lot of times, I met a guy who played guitar in a town over. So I would after sailing classes, I got signed up for sailing classes, which I didn't want to do at all. But I ended up enjoying it, so it was cool. But after that, I would go play at his house. We'd play like Red Hot Chili Peppers and The Offspring, and Bush and like whatever the hell else was out in 1995.
Yeah.
And,
Now,
yes, it just kept going from there. Like I met a kid in school that played guitar. We hung out. We always wanted to, write stuff. We thought, we started like with Metallica and Korn and stuff. Korn came out. We listened to Korn, their first couple albums.
Badass.
So, all over the place, Tool and just all kinds of stuff. And I like everything. Like I'm weird. I'm like everything, like Tori Amos, like Cradle of Filth. I rap. I like rap. So there's lots of shit that I like. It's crazy. But so I've been in bands forever. So then in high school I was in a band that started out kind of like a heavy hard rock band, and then we morphed into like a metal band.
Now,
And-
did the music stuff, like, I mean, is it something that you just saw and you just kind of took to, or is it something that like maybe you saw your maybe your dad or your mother singing or your uncle playing guitar? Because in my family, it was kind of like you were the weirdo if you did not play some type of instrument or even try to play an instrument. You were the oddball in the group.
Oh yeah. No, it was the opposite. My dad was an engineer, computer engineer. I've talked about how he died when I was 8, but I mean before that, when I lived with them, he was an engineer, so he actually taught at a school and then was an engineer. It was bizarre. Like he had pretty good jobs, but he got really sick towards the end of before he died. But so he didn't really play music, and my mom didn't really either. But she did have a piano in the house that he bought her, and so she would sit me down. So I would say at an early age, when she would play the piano, I loved when she would play the piano. So I wanted to play the piano too. And even to this day, like piano, I can just play little chords on the keys. I'm not very good at all. I don't read the music well. I'm not very good, but I can just like come up with a pattern that sounds good. And usually that's how I make. If I was to write a song, I would come up with a pattern, and then repeat a couple times and decide where I wanted to go with it. Or I would have words written and then write to the words. It's very weird. I'm not a very good musician. I'm just sort of I get by. I'm a pretty good drummer, but I do a lot of things, and I think there's a lot of flaws in everything I do. But no, yeah. So the house wasn't musical, really, for the most part, other than my mother doing that. What I will say though is that I always wanted to have a tape recorder. I'll never from the 4 years, 5 years old. Like I wanted tape recorders. I wanted I was very interested in video cameras and tape recorders, like obsessed with it. I would beg my mother to take out the tape recorder, probably a really expensive camera in the 80s, to take it out so I could just film myself doing stupid shit. And I still have I have the tapes now, and it's really dumb, it's stuff, but it's like I wanted to put on this show on the camera and make, I don't know, nobody laugh because nobody would ever watch it, but I would watch it back and be like, was that funny? Because I would do things that I thought were funny into the camera and then watch it back again. So that kind of coincides with that. My uncle came over with a tape recorder, like a reel-to-reel tape recorder with a microphone.
Oh, these are classic ones too.
Yeah, like old looking and crap. It's maybe 1989, I think, or not, I think it's 1989. And when he talked into it and we play stuff back, I was just like obsessed with talking into it and telling a story into it and listening. And then I would rewind it and go back and listen to it. That's all stuff that still goes on in my mind now. Because when we do a show, sometimes I'll listen to the whole show to be like, well, what's working there? Or like, is this even entertaining? And sometimes I'll listen to something back and think it's not, or some parts are.
Now, do you have like, I don't know if you're like me in the aspect I still upstairs or in the basement or something like that with all my music equipment. I still have like my very first folder of all the songs I writ, like half my songs in. I still have all the tabs from everything from Metallica to Pantera to The Clash to the Ramones. Any tab that I ever looked up for any song I wanted to learn, or even because I was kind of thrown into like the church scene. So as much as my dad was involved in playing in bars and stuff like that and playing for 3 hours, he also did this stuff on Sunday. So
yeah,
mixed with half that book was also all the other church songs and the chords and stuff like that. Do you have anything like any CDs or anything like that you still hold close to your heart? Maybe that you've had all over these years.
I still have a lot of things. I have lots of things recorded. There's a few tabs around, but mostly what I have are lyrics. That's mostly what I have is I still have books of lyrics. Some that are okay and most that are just ridiculous, but I have the books of those still around. So those exist still from me and my friend, especially one of my friends who's not, we had a falling out a long time ago, but he was close to me at the time. And we would write stuff all night. And when we sort of had a falling out with him is when I went into that metal band. And when I was in that band, it just got more and more metal. And I became the singer of that band by accident because, or maybe by their own, I don't know what happened. The guitar player, his dad, he did church stuff actually. He still does them to this day. But at the time, him and his brother used to play in the church band. But he was a really good guitar player, like very good, Like I played with a lot of guitar players that I loved to play with that were good, but he was just really like technical and crazy. And I don't even always enjoy that because sometimes you can be really technical and it's funner. It's still not as fun as just a rock guitar player. But that being said, I was playing drums with them and everything was going fine. But he invited his brother over to play drums a few times. He just was with us. So I would joke around because I'm not afraid to grab a mic and joke around. So I would joke around like making up different lyrics to like Godsmack or a song or like a whatever band we were playing a song of. So I would change the words and just be funny, and we were just joking around.
I used to do that all the time with there was a Christian punk band that not that I used to make fun of, but I just thought the whole concept, because back then I was pretty much one of those people that you saw in like Under Oath or something that were in heavy bands, but you would never guess it until our middle of our set where we were like, oh, we did it for Jesus. And I'd be like, oh, and then they'd be like, oh, okay, I see where these guys are coming from. But like with like me, like I saw it as like maybe as bad as it sounds, but I saw it as like, oh, well, it's just secular music and it's in a whole genre by itself. And I had no idea that it would end up being like its own genre in the future. But were you always like that metalhead, or I mean, did you ever get into anything that was like did you ever play anything that after you were done you were kind of like, okay, maybe I need a tampon and a something to go with that, you know what I'm saying? Because I've also done that. I've written songs that that people will, will literally watch a video of mine or a CD or listen to a CD and go, "Oh, and you were in a screamo Christian band," and I'd go, "Yeah." And then the next band that they listened to that I was in was the completely opposite from the Christian band I was in. So when they were just like, "Oh, we want to go see Chris play," and the first thing I would say is just, "We're a metal as fuck," and they'd be like, we're going to, Chris looks definitely intoxicated. He looks like he's stoned on something. We don't want to be a part of this. And that's what I was just telling Mike about. I was like, no one, my parents didn't want to come to, they would come to my Christian shows, but all the other stuff that I did, they never came to. I mean, was your mom really supportive of your music and stuff?
Yeah, she didn't know what the hell we were doing. She didn't the metal stuff, but she was definitely supportive. I mean, we even recorded a demo. I have it. I have a lot of those songs around here somewhere. But we recorded a demo when I was in 10th grade, and I mean, her and the bass player's parent. I mean, our parents paid for like $600 of studio time, so they were. Yeah, my mother was crazy supportive of that stuff. I mean, we still, before we completely went bankrupt, we still had some of my dad's, engineer money. So I mean, I started off life like with a lot of money, you know what I mean? I didn't know it. We had a good life, I had no idea. And so by the time I was 10 or 11 or 12 years old, things started going downhill. And, by the time I was 16 years old, it was kind of scary. But she would still, like, whatever she had, she would blow money on doing things for me. And it probably to make up maybe like, "Oh, dad, because your dad is, mothers do that, she's a crutch." Some mothers maybe wouldn't, but my mother was very much like, "Oh, he really wants this." Eventually she'd do it. So I was very lucky to have, like, if I wanted to do something, I would get access to it, and that's maybe why I did so many damn different things. But, no, I would do different songs too, different music. I'm into all kinds of shit. So actually I'm more emo-y than anything. I'm not really like the metal thing. I discovered through some of my friends. And as I got into it more, like, I actually got them all into it. Was funny because I feel like I paid them back because they were always getting me into metal bands. And Opeth or Opeth, I got them into
whatever the hell it is.
Yeah,
I don't know either.
I say Opeth, but some people yell at me. But yeah, no, I remember getting into
I say the same thing, Joe.
Okay, good. But I love like Typo Negative and stuff like that. So
yes.
I like bands like that. I went through that phase of like, must be the most metal thing ever. And then like eventually I came back down again to like, to where I really more am, which is more like, I'm more of a like Nine Inch Nails, Stabbing Westward, The Cure, Typo Negative.
Oh yeah, I love The Cure.
Yeah, see, I'm more of that type of but I like everything, I really do. But yeah, I do fall into more of that sort of pop rock, industrial, or alternative-y sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
has there been ever like I think Mike was trying to tell me that, I know I watched the show once too where you were talking about maybe, I think you said that I don't know if you said you opened up for or you were going to or something like that. But who have you ever like have you played with anybody of significance or anything that's like that makes people go, "Whoa, you play with them?" Because I'm in the same boat. Like, to me, the underground music, I could tell you, well, Joe, I played with Bury Your Dead and Born of Osiris and Suicide Silence. To somebody else, they go, "I don't know who the fuck that is," whatever. But somebody else would be like, "You played with them? That's the greatest thing I've ever heard," But
yeah, no, that's pretty cool to play with those. That would be like in wrestling terms, it'd be kind of like if you were hanging out with like Ricochet or something like that. I mean, like Ricochet is like the equivalent of those bands, whereas you'd have to say like Matt Hardy or Cesaro or something to somebody else, I don't know. But or John Cena, but not even. But yeah, no, I did I did play with Hatebreed and like Slipknot. I was on a show where there was like 6 bands, and we technically opened for all of them. But I mean, we were there with them. We got to kind of meet everybody, and so that was pretty cool. Yeah, but it was funny because it came up again the other day at work because there's a guy at my work. And he's a drummer. He's like a metal drummer. Like, he's full on hardcore metal drummer. And he's opening. I forget what the band's name is. I should look it up. It's this weekend in Maine, I think. They're opening for he's opening for Slipknot or he's playing with them. I don't know.
Oh, dude.
I don't know what happened to Joey, but I mean, I don't know if he's playing with them or opening for them. But he sent a photo with everything, and I was like, "Whoa, dude, that's awesome!" Because the other day he brought them up, and I didn't even know this, and I was like, "Yeah, I played with them like a long time ago, 2002 or 3 or something.
I think a lot of people, in my opinion, don't see the comparison from music to wrestling. I think a lot of times it kind of it's one of those situations like on the indies and stuff, and as far as like a unsigned band, you travel up and down the road. I used to play shows and get paid nothing, or I'd have to pay $200 just to play for someone that that the house brought a lot of money to. So,
Yeah.
and I could kind of see the comparisons with wrestling too. You know, traveling, getting paid $25 and whatever to drive halfway across the world to do this and that. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't unless you're in the music, or I shouldn't say in the I always say the music industry, and people are like, well, you technically weren't in the music industry. I'm like, yeah, but I grew up in it, and because of my dad's success, like my dad wasn't the biggest thing in whatever, but around here, if you say Jeff Hager, he'd go, well, oh, I know who Jeff Hager is, Saving Other Souls and his Christian band. Are you talking about Midnight Fire? Because they're really popular too. And I was like, that's cool, you know what I mean? But hey, Mike, he's on here, man. What do you want to ask him?
Yeah, Joe.
I can barely even think of it. Like I have questions written down right here, and I can't even remotely like.
This happens to me.
It's like a mark out moment, and I know Joe will probably be like, "Oh, motherfucker, kissing ass." He said the same thing when Dave was on the show, but it's really cool to have you on, man, because I've been watching you for that long, and
Wait, Dave Rose? Do you have Dave Rose on?
yeah, I had Dave Rose on the last Saturday Night Throwdown that I did. He came on, and honestly, I told him, I was like, I don't want to talk about wrestling. I just want to talk about anything else and talk about yourself. And of course, Dave loved that. So we talked about just basically stuff that like you guys would talk on Final Frontier and stuff like that. And I plugged a bunch of his shit and added some money to his PayPal and stuff like that, because I told him I really enjoyed him coming on the show and stuff. I enjoy everything that you all do. So when someone comes to me and tells me that I'm the official ball licker of Joe Cronin, I take it as a compliment. And I have not received any checks yet from you, Joe. So I'm just gonna assume that those checks bounced or something, or the money's not in yet. But
yeah, they do that a lot. They bounce. No, Dave's funny like that. Dave, I gotta listen to that. I didn't hear that. I'll go listen to that. Yeah, it's still weird. I feel the same way when I do interviews, and I feel sometimes at the beginning, not as much now, but when I first started and I started getting interviews with people, I did the same thing. I was like, this is weird. I'm forgetting everything I wanted to ask them.
Yeah.
And then I learned I would like start telling them all about all these things, and I'd go off the rails, and yeah, it was hard to. I don't know why, because I thought it'd be easy because I knew what I was doing. I was like, just ask a question, let them go, and then ask a question, let them go. Those are usually the best. And I would just rant on about stuff with people. And there's so many things. I cut things up that I put up so many times because I was like, I'm just gonna cut that whole thing out, where we completely went off the rails for 30 minutes.
Well, I didn't even, when I first started, like, I just wanted to do this for fun. You know what I mean? I wanted to come on here and just bullshit with my friends and talk about wrestling and everything else. And honestly, you probably don't even remember this, but I got a DM from you a few months ago that really, it really hit me, man, because it was just like, you said something on the lines of, if this is something you really want to do, and no matter how many people message you, I get messages all the day telling me to shut down my channel because I'm the biggest piece of shit in the world and all this other stuff. He's like, and you told me that if I really wanted to do this, that I needed to stay strong with it and just put everything into it, that it took you 3 years to do it, and that your time and your creativity and everything else will pay off. I mean, is it kind of crazy to think that people are that are like really inspired by you?
Yeah, it really is weird. But cool, like, because I'm the same exact way. Like, I'm the same exact way as everybody out there. When somebody emails me or DMs me, which happens all day, daily, it's bizarre, and someone's like, oh, Joe, I decided to do this because of you. Even if 2 years from now they realize that wasn't for them, it still is a part of something they did, and it grew them as a person. Like, I've failed at a lot of things, and I've failed on YouTube for 6 years on a different channel, and because I didn't put everything into it that I could have. I didn't have a focus point, and I wasn't really I wasn't really committed to doing something right, and it took me 6 years to realize this isn't working. Like, let me try to actually let me do this as serious as possible, or do this for real. Like, let me really put time into it. And the second I really put time into YouTube, it immediately started paying off. It was bizarre. So, but for 6 years, I was putting up stuff and being like, why doesn't anybody, isn't anybody subbing me and stuff? What's going on? I had tons of videos and tons of, but my videos were dumb as hell, and that's what the answer was. Most of the stuff was dumb. So maybe one video was good, and then there'd be like 6 videos that sucked. I would be able to upload one video, a day for a week, and then I wouldn't upload for a month. So just all that type of stuff. You have to be consistent if you're serious, and you find out if you're serious or not. And that's basically what happens. And it turns out that I wasn't serious enough at the time, and that's why I wasn't successful. So, and some people can be real serious and still won't get success. So but you'll never know if you don't do it. And so, and I did have 800 subs with that other channel. So, I mean, at least 800, and those people would be the most goddamn interesting fucking people on the planet to have subbed to that channel. So, I mean, those people are really, really scary people, whoever they are. I guarantee it.
Well, I mean, as much shit as you get sometimes from me, and like at least with me and Mike, I mean, we're I'm pretty sure you follow both of us, and we follow you, so we see some of this crazy shit that people send you and stuff like that, and everything else. Does it like click with you yet that when someone I think about this all the time when I have like when I had Dave on the show, I asked him, I was like, man, I asked him, I didn't really want to bring up too much when it came to monetize this and that kind of stuff like that, like because I didn't want to get involved with all the drama and that kind of stuff. But I even asked him, I was like, well, what's the real reason? I said, is it hard to do what you guys do sometimes? Because I know you guys have a lot of people that come out there and attack you for this and that, but I mean, like I said with me, like you have to change some people's lives. I mean, especially like I can never say his name right. Is it Kiera or Sierra?
Oh, Kiera Brown.
Oh. Yeah. So you do a lot of stuff, and at least from my opinion, I told Dave, I said, another reason why I think a lot of people appreciate what you do, Joe, is because they see not only just the hard work and stuff, but they also see. I think someone said that that if you were a great father, or it was something stupid. It was like, if you were a great father, then you would spend less time on live and more time with your kids. And what I think what most people don't realize, or at least when it comes with you, Joe, is that that's the reason why when all these people are bitching at you saying, I can't believe Joe, it's 11:30, the thing says 11:30, it's 12 o'clock, and Joe's still not on here, fuck Joe, and all this other stuff, and I'm sitting there going, has anyone ever thought that there may be the reason why he didn't go on at 11:30 is because he has to spend some time with his kids before he goes in there?
Exactly.
Well, last night was a tough night. It was one of the toughest monetized this is in a while, because my son was just screaming and screaming.
Oh, yeah. We're loyal.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Croninites or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
But so we definitely watched most of all your shows and stuff. But I mean, and that just drives me crazy because as much as I feel like that people don't see the real, not the real Cronin, but I feel like as much as people watch your videos and stuff, they don't really get to see that too much side of you. And is it one of those things where do you think because you're on YouTube that people have the right to see more of your life or no? You know what I mean? Like as far as posting stuff of your kids, I know you do some of this stuff on Facebook, and every now and then we'll see something on Instagram and stuff like that. But like, do you think maybe opening up your life would knock off some of those haters and stuff, or do you think it's always going to come?
I think it would just. I mean, if you share too much, I mean, there's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? Because people are gonna. It doesn't matter if you share your life and you're nice and you talk about stuff. I mean, I've had like nice things I've said about, stories and things that are positive, used against me, for whatever. So it doesn't matter. In fact, it's probably worse if you open your life. I open it enough that what's going on, but I don't really I don't want to put too many photos of my kids and too many of the stuff with the kids out there. But at the same time, I'm just not afraid of that stuff. I know that there's some people that are like, oh my God, I'll never have my kids or never show my, any of that stuff. And then there's some people that have their families on YouTube, but I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, I'm not afraid to do things here or there because I just think that, I know that there's bad people out there and stuff, but for the most part, I like to think that people are pretty good and, there wouldn't really be a problem. And if somebody does something stupid once in a while, whatever, that they're creepy or weird and that's fine. Like, it's someone draws a, like dick on my kid's head or something, I mean, like, it's just whatever, I don't care as long as, that's weird, but whatever. So that doesn't bother me as much. So if I was a person that there's a lot of guys out there who are crazy, they'd flip out over that stuff. Most of the times when I'm flipping out too, it's like, I'm not even really mad. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not really like that. Like, so it is funny. I used to hear this from, celebrities or people like that who would say, like people would have like some kind of story or what's the word, rumor or something about them, and then they would be like, it's not even like that, and you would see the person all upset. And it's true. Like, it's amazing sometimes what I read and I'm like, whoa, this isn't even how you can be misunderstood with stuff is unbelievable. Like, I'm like, wow, this isn't even what I meant at all. Like, oh no, this isn't what I do. Somebody's like, oh, you need to spend more time with your kids, like you said. And it's like, well, I get home when they're almost all in bed. So once, I've said, hey, good night or whatever to everybody, well, now there's nothing to do. So after I talk with my wife and say hi to everybody and everybody's in bed and it's nighttime, and I work a different kind of schedule. So I work a little bit of a night schedule. So then I jump on and do YouTube live. I fast forward through Raw, I get through everything, and I do the show. So it's not like it's like 5 p.m. I get home from work and the kids are all awake, and I'm like, you know what, I gotta go do wrestling and YouTube. That if I wouldn't do that probably. I wouldn't do as much as I do. So, and then there's other people that will say, get a job. And it's like, well, I do. I have a 40-hour job plus 25 hours on YouTube a week. So I work a whole hell of a lot. But then there'll be other people that will say, you need, you think that YouTube's going to be your job. And it's like, well, but I work 40 hours again because I don't trust YouTube, fully. But at the same time,
I think that's why. I mean, at least your diehard fans. I think that's why a lot of people respect you, Joe, because they see that you go. I mean, you're just like the rest of us. You go to work. You work 40 hours a week. You come home. You spend time with your kids. You try to take them out or do this or do that or whatever, and then still have time to give the fans what they want and come on live and do that kind of stuff like that. So I think a lot of people, as much as you that people say that Joe's this and Joe's that. I honestly think that if they take out the what I would consider triggered by rage part, the rage part of you, I think they would realize that that you're just like everybody else, that you do have a family, that you do have to support them and stuff. Because I always hear, well, he's got all these donations, so why don't he have so and so come on and this person and that person? I just think it's ridiculous. Sam Roberts can do it, and this person can do it, and that person can do it. So I mean, I understand why Joe don't have a guest on the whole time, and I was just like, I mean, that's leading up to my second. That's leading up to my last question, and I'll let Mike ask you a question if that's cool with you. Why do you think a lot of people not refuse but have doubts of coming on your show? Is it maybe because the language is too bad for them, or is it because of the content, or why?
Some of that could be a possibility, but the reason why I really don't get any WWE guys is because you have to connect with their office.
Yeah.
There's a guy in WWE I have to speak with, and they have to be cleared to come on my show. Every single wrestler I've asked to come on, even Rhino, who was very nice to me and was really cool, and like, in fact, I'm going to see him in a couple of days, and he'll probably be cool again. But he was like, dude, I'd come on your podcast, no doubt. He's like, absolutely. He's like, maybe I will when everything's done, but he couldn't even tell me that he was with WWE, but he was like, this is because this was before he came back, right? This was the day before he came back. He was like, I got something going on and I'm not allowed to do anything right now, And I was like, all right, well, I understand. So like, he would come on, but he's not allowed to. If he comes on a show that wasn't allowed by WWE corporate, and then he says something goofy, and then something goes viral, well, he's in breach of contract. So
yeah,
they
can't.
Is that the reason? Is that honestly like? And you could obviously you.
Sam Roberts is friends with the WWE. I mean that's
I mean, is that the reason? Yeah. Is that me and Mike were just talking about? Is that the reason why that Russo hasn't came back on the show? Because I know I've heard a couple of times you say, well, Russo's going to be on this Sunday, and then or he's going to come up this week, and then he hasn't. I know, like I was telling Mike, I know that some people, because they're jackasses and just don't fucking get it, but they took some of the shit that you said and sent to him. And really, I mean, even Russo told me, he's like, man, he's like, it really did get underneath my skin a little bit because I don't want to be associated with that, which I get that. But what he has to realize is it's not you. You know what I mean? Like, it's the show.
I remember when that happened. Yeah, that was very weird of them to do that. I don't want to talk about that too much because we have a deal going on. We're not going to talk about each other. But I was surprised that people went to those lengths to... Because I think the thing that makes me the maddest is when the worst thing that ever happens to me is when somebody says something I said I didn't say, or when they paint me in a certain way. Because what happened was they sent a video where I basically where I was talking about like beheading somebody, and I was using bad language. And
the McDonald's chicken sandwich.
Yeah, it wasn't that one, but it might have been that one too, but I don't remember.
That's the one that he told me. He said that he didn't appreciate that language, and I messaged Russo, and I was like, because he knows I'm a big supporter, and I mean sometimes I can't donate with money and stuff, man, but if I can get someone to be on your guys' show that, you know, by me tweeting them mad fuck, then I will, you know what I mean? But I think that he just really saw that as like, he knows your show's crazy, and he knows that. Yeah, you know, the people and stuff. But I think that I think maybe it's just not just him. I think it was with a lot of people. They just.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, because if you see something, you're like, because I'm mixing, you know, the wrestling stuff and I'll tell you, some of the wrestling shows are the most serious things in the world. Some of these wrestling personalities are the most serious people ever. It's almost unbelievable. Actually, Vince Russo has a little bit of more of a toleration for stuff, to be honest, because for somebody who doesn't really want to have swearing too much anymore, for someone who's kind of following God and stuff like that, you know, he was very tolerant the few times that he's been on, and he said some very nice things to me about what he heard, even though, you know, some of it was a little bit too much, you know, for him, but he enjoyed it. And no, Vince, I mean, me and Vince haven't connected. Recently, he told me that, you know, we just got to connect so I can be on his show, because he's wanted to have me on his show, I guess. And so I think me and Russo are at this point, it's scheduling mostly. I'm sure he's had some like, whoa, like what's going on over there type of moments, but, you know, at the same time, but going back to the other thing is, yeah, I'm surprised they got painted that way. I would have never done that to anyone, because I think I just wouldn't have done with anybody. I wouldn't do that to anybody, but I've done some weird stuff to people. But I'm also a character. You know what I mean? That's why what I do, that's why I don't use my real name isn't my real name, because a lot of times what I do is in character and people don't know that, or, you know what I mean? Like I'll say goofy things or ridiculous things that are just, so it's kind of hard to tell, are you getting, who are you getting of me on, the broadcast? You know, it does blur the lines a little bit. So like if somebody says like, oh, you know, you said this, you said you wanted to, you know, peel the skin off of you know what I mean, anybody who, you know, hates Burger King or something, it's like, well, that's Joe Cronin, that's not me, I'm Dan, I'm like Hulk Hogan, like that's Terry Bollea's penis.
That's Terry Bollea, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a fine line. I would say I'm 70% me, but 30% in character usually.
And the other day, I did get a Hulk Hogan shirt that was a black shirt. It was Hulk Hogan on a black shirt. So, there you go. So what's that say? I don't know.
Yeah, it was a black shirt in the red and yellow.
Yeah, I mean that's why I created Triggered and some of these Triggered by Rage and some of these other things. Shock Talk with Justin. Shock Talk with Justin is like half of that is character. Like, I mean, that's why like we created it, because I realized that the wrestling fans, you know, we do monetize this on Fridays and people should know what to expect there.
Monetize this, by the way.
Thank you. That's cool. Yeah, no, I don't want people to think, you know, and you know what it is you get a lot of new viewers and they don't know what's going on yet. You know, they'll be like, is this guy crazy? Is he a racist?
Yeah.
Is he like, does he hate women? Does he hate men? Does he hate life? Does he hate his kids? Like, what's going on here? You know, so
I always hear, I feel so bad for his wife.
His wife, yeah, because she has to sit right now. She's listening right now.
And I say, I'm always like, have you not been on Grimm's show? Have you not seen all this stuff that he does to his wife? I think Leah's got it made.
Yeah, Leah's actually, I don't know. That's arguable though, because I mean, like Grimm like films he'll be like, all right, let's film a video, and they'll spend an hour filming a video around the house. Then he'll go edit it, and that's it. But Leah has to listen to that like for like hours, and then watch the rest. So I don't know. It's probably close though, for sure.
Is there anything that you want to ask the amazing Joe Cronin while he's on there, Mike?
Yeah, Joe, the other night, when you and JD did Out of Nowhere on his channel, what was up with those death threats, man?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what that was. It was probably some kid or I don't know, somebody messing around. It was so weird. I took it immediately serious because I just
definitely
what they said. I mean, I already got I've got police on my street, so I mean it's not.
Yeah.
I just went around and told everybody basically this is the deal. I got in contact with a Homeland Security person, so there's just people monitoring stuff so they know, and it's probably nobody and nothing and whatever, and hopefully, but that's about it. I don't know. I never got anything like that before, so I was like, this is a little fucking crazy. But other guys get it all day long, every day. There's other YouTubers with billions of people listening to them show up at the house. So I don't know. People are crazy, but I mean, I'm not the person that obviously you see on the internet on the show. If you show up my house, I'm not like I'm gonna fucking I mean, I might, I a little bit. I mean,
so
I do.
Are you trying to say that you do not fuck your vacuum cleaner in your private life?
Yeah, I don't have sex. I can't say that because I have walked by the vacuum before randomly and just been like, yeah.
I cried, dude, for like 2 weeks, dude. Like, that was the funniest shit I think I've seen, dude. And just the fact that Justin Bailey, every time that at the end of the clip that you shoved it up there, and Justin just cracks up laughing, just cracked me up too.
I specifically did that for Bailey. I pictured him laughing because I can make Bailey laugh pretty good. Like I knew what would make him laugh, and I'm like, if I stick this in my ass and go, oh, like Bailey will come unglued. Which that takes it to like the point of YouTube originally when I first started YouTube, because I've always liked comedy and radio stuff, so I mix sort of the both. Yeah. But I just like people laughing. I like the idea of people laughing and stuff. Like that's why that's why I like doing this stuff.
And you have to be like a huge fan of Howard Stern, right?
Yeah, like I really am a big fan of Howard Stern and George Carlin and
yeah, George Carlin was great. I actually got to see him live before he died.
I did too. That same month, I think it was on this little tour doing his deal. But I'd seen him a couple times before that. But when, I don't know if when he was doing this when you saw him, but when I saw him, he was like leaning on the chair, and I was like, oh man, he looks.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He was looking rough.
Yeah, that's too bad. But yeah, I loved them. There's a lot of other people I like too, but I mean, it's just I want to. If people are laughing, that's good. I want to bring news to people but make people laugh, and sometimes the wrestling fans don't want to laugh. They just want wrestling news and a serious wrestling podcast. So
I think that's what makes you as unique as you are, because I mean, not only are you releasing wrestling videos and stuff and news and things like that, but I mean, as far as even wrestling a bear or shouting in your car, or pushing your son on a swing and then he comes back and hits you in the face by accident, or what I mean. And that is, no matter what anyone says, it's entertaining. I mean, my son is 5 years old, and every time, like I'll tell him, I'm like, oh hey, I'm watching Joe's show. I always, not that we're best friends, but I always I say Joe's show. I'm like, oh, I'm watching Joe's show, and he always goes, is he kicking? Well, I can't say that. I shouldn't tell people that he says that, but he's like, is he kicking the ass of the bear? And I said, what'd you just say? He goes, yeah, is he kicking the ass of the bear? And to my son, he can watch that video, and the video of you wrestling the bear, and you're not cussing, you're not flipping out, you're not doing this, and to him, he thinks that's the greatest, funniest thing he's ever seen. So
that's great.
Do you have like people come up to you and tell you that that they're kids? I mean, does that ever happen where you're just like, wait, what? Your 8-year-old listens to my show or something like that? Yeah,
it's weird. Like there was a kid. There's a kid on YouTube that I get alerts when people make videos with my like certain tags with me in it, just so I can see if anything's going on. And there was one the other day a kid made, and he was talking about me, and I thought that was bizarre, but it was cool though. I was like, man, you really should not be watching this. And so sometimes I feel bad because sometimes I'm like, I wish I had like a PG channel for like these kids so they could watch all this stuff or something. Maybe I'll do it at some point. Maybe if I was really big, I would definitely do it. Like if I had like 1 million subscribers, I'd probably have like a Joe Cronin PG channel or something. You know, like because I'd like them to watch it. But yeah, I mean, I started seeing this stuff though when I was younger. You know what I mean? And I'm not, I mean, I'm a little bit obnoxious, obviously, and a little weird. But I'm not I'm not a bad person, I don't think, because I watched, a lot of these things at a young age. So I don't have too much worry, especially like anybody over 10. I'm like, yeah, I was watching this stuff at 10 or over. Like, this isn't a big deal.
Especially in wrestling, we're all going. I mean, at least me as a kid, I was going around like most people, telling people to suck it, having no idea what the hell suck it really meant.
I think I was in like 7th grade when that was really hot, or eighth grade when it was really hot. So like, I mean, we did know what it meant, but it was like, screw it, I don't care. I'm saying suck it anyway. I want you to suck it. But so the teachers, I always think about the teachers like, what the hell is going on? They must have just been like, what the fuck is this? Like kids telling us to suck it. Like, why do we? Nowadays, if that happened, like if only a few kids did it, they'd expel them and like call it some kind of sexual, like I don't know, they'd be in trouble. I know that. Back then it didn't matter. It's funny because like now it's like we always say back then it's like our parents used to do that, like back in the day, and used to think, well, you guys were like Neanderthals back then or something. Now we do it. Now it's like super PC world right now. It's like unbelievable. And but yeah, back when we were kids, it was just whatever. And I think you should just go back to that. But no, that's I do. That's the only thing. Yeah, I worry about that. But then some people, I get a lot of letters and emails from kids who are like, oh, I get a lot of freaky things like, my parents died, I'm in a foster care, or my dad's a drunk or something, and I heard you bring up, about you drunk. And so I really like have to, I don't know. It's tough because like I'm like, oh man, these people are listening, but at the same time, like, oh, it's helping them, so that's good. And so like I get pretty serious about responding to those kids, I guess. And yeah, it's weird. I didn't think this stuff would happen. I mean, obviously you think it makes sense that it does, but I didn't think it would happen. So yeah, I don't know. So I talked to a lot of people with issues and problems, and it comes up, and I started, sometimes I try to bring it up on other shows, and I told Jesse, because Jesse's big in all this stuff about healing people and healing things and stuff. And so he loves this stuff. So, I mean, we could almost have a show only on that. And I also was someone who grew up, there was a couple radio help shows that I used to listen to when I was younger. And I really enjoyed that. They gave advice and people called up with issues. And I think it really helped them. And it was really interesting to listen to. And then the most popular one that everybody knows about was Loveline. That was a big, that was about like a lot of sexual stuff, and which was cool. And
I remember Loveline.
Yeah, advice and stuff like that. So I always talked about doing a show like that. I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist at all, and I probably need one. But at the same time, like when you find yourself when somebody asks you a question that you feel like I find myself that I can answer all these things, and I don't know why. I didn't think. I wouldn't think I could, but I can when they don't have no idea what to say or they tell me what they've done. But so it's mind blowing that shit happens. It's crazy.
That is nuts, man.
Yeah, Joe, you talking about the kids, man. My little boy knows who you and JD are already, and he's 2.5.
Yeah, my kid watches a lot of YouTube too. So I mean, like my kid, he's in a Minecraft big time. So like all he does, in fact, today he just watched like the Dan TDM guy. He watches.
Oh my God, that's my son's all over that. The little the English guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Diamond Minecart or whatever. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. What the hell? Let me ask you, Joe. Since seems like your kid's all into it too. When did it become like not creepy or anything for like kids to be into electronic animals that come to life at 2 a.m. and try to kill people?
Oh yeah, what is up with the Nights at Freddy's, right?
My son, I'm telling you, my son is obsessed with it. He wanted the T-shirts, and all he talks about is Freddy and Chica and all these other people. And I'm sitting there going, I literally watch it and hear the noises that come out of these things, and I'm sitting there going, how does that not scare the shit out of all these kids?
I can
Like
explain
I would
this.
have been terrified at 5 years old with a fucking screaming thing with the face that comes open or whatever, and you can
Yeah.
see his eyeballs, and then all of a sudden it screeches and it walks up to you, but then you got to shut the door because if you don't shut the door, it will kill you.
My kid, I figured this out because he actually is a little scared of this too. He gets scared of it, and sometimes he doesn't want to look at it. But then he loves it, and he's got the T-shirts and everything. But I looked at a photograph of myself not too long ago. There's a couple with Ninja Turtle shirts. And I flipped the page, and the photograph. I think I was 8 years old, and it was Jason. It was the mask, and I remember that we would have sleepovers, and I had horror books. I loved these scary story books, and then I had these other real scary books, and also we just had nights where we would sneak out to the TV room and we would watch the Halloween marathons. And
Oh yeah.
we were 6, 7, and 8 year olds at that time. So I just thought of that, and I went, you know what? That's the same thing. I mean, that's why. I mean, it's the same sort of thing. We did the same thing. You know, it really isn't that different. It seems like it is, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, are we weird for letting them? Should we not let him look at this stuff? Like,
I get shit all the time from his mom because we're not together, and she'll message me and she'll go,
You
did you
did
let
this.
him watch this, and did you let him say this, or how come he knows more about she's like, how come he knows more about Call of Duty zombies than my boyfriend does, and he's 32. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, that's just what he's into it. But I mean, do you think maybe as far as wrestling fans, do you think maybe like when you talk about Halloween and stuff, do you because you also started liking now, when did you start realizing that wrestling was predetermined? I don't want to say fake, but predetermined and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. When I was, I think I always kind of had a feeling, like, I think even as a kid, like, it was something different about it. Like, because I knew it, and I have videotapes of myself wrestling, a goofy bear or a teddy bear, but not like I do now, where it's supposed to be funny because I'm an idiot. But I mean, I was a kid doing it, and I was really, you could see me. I would stomp with the foot. I wouldn't really punch the bear. Like, I knew how to fucking sell a goddamn, like, I'm playing with the bear, and the bear would punch me, and I would fall over, and then I would actually, like, do the move so it wouldn't hurt the bear like the wrestlers would do. So I would be doing that without even realizing it. But I would also know there was something different about a real punch versus what I was seeing, because I was like, no, I feel like a real person would be knocked out. So, but anyway, that was like in the way back of your mind. But I remember my mother telling me, like, she kind of ruined it. She'd be like, this is goof. She would laugh at some of the, like, especially Hulk Hogan matches. She would be like, this isn't real. Like, she's like, this is all an act. And I was like, no, it's not. I was like 7 or 8. No, it's not. And then by 9, 10, I took it really seriously. I think it wasn't, if you had, like, grabbed me by the arms and said, like, is this really real? I mean, I would have probably said by 11 or 12 years old, maybe by 12 or 13, I would have told you, yeah, of course it's not really, but yeah. So, but you suspend belief. And I mean, even when the Attitude Era happened, that's what made that so good, was because I was starting to realize that, this is getting kind of lame. And then all of a sudden, like, I was like, is Stone Cold really have a gun in Pillman's house? Like, so even though you it's not really, really real, but you're really invested in it. Just like somebody watching an episode of their favorite TV show, and if one of the characters is going to get killed off the next week, they might cry or something. It's like, that's not real. They know the show's not real, but they were emotionally involved in characters, just like we were. So it's the same thing, sort of. So that's, but I would say, I really don't exactly know when I was like, oh, of course, this is all, whatever. Because I would say maybe by 14, I was aware of it for sure, but I didn't really speak about it too much. And also at 14, like 13, 14, and 15, the internet was there. So that's when I started reading rumor sites, because it was, what was it when I was 14? It was 94. I was 10. So like 1997 and 98, those AOL chat rooms and, websites popped up with the dirt sheets, and with results, they started giving away results. I remember I read the ending to WrestleMania 14 weeks before, and and it said, like, spoiler, don't read if you don't want to know the ending. And I was like, yeah, right. This they don't know the ending to the whatever.
And it
So
just like, it's almost like it breaks your heart. You know what I mean?
yeah,
like when you figure, I mean, when you figure out, not that it's, because I always say predetermined, but once people find out it's predetermined, people either don't. Because I've had a lot of people, especially my little brother, as soon as he found out wrestling was not real, it he didn't care for it, did not give a shit about it, and it was like weird transition. He was just like, oh, I'm all into it, I'm all Cena and blah blah blah, and then because he's younger than me, so his era was what I call the shitty era, but with Cena and Nexus and all that other shit. But he was, he just, as soon as he found out that it wasn't real, it was gone, man. And I tried to tell him, I was like, well, don't you realize? And that's maybe the only thing I do not get that kind of drives me crazy is the fact of that I feel like sometimes people don't understand that what they're seeing on TV is almost and movies and stuff are the same thing that you're seeing in wrestling, except for it's live.
Yep.
Yeah, it's because of that trickery that they're doing that people get heat. It's the same thing that happens to me. I can relate to it too. I do a video that's supposed to be funny or something really over the top or something ridiculous, and people take it for real. Like, and people get really mad, and other people get it, and some people think I'm serious and they agree with me. Some people disagree with me and hate me, and other people will get the joke or whatever. So it's the same blur of the lines. But if you want the reaction, like, I love Andy Kaufman. I love what he did
Yes.
with stuff. And sometimes
Oh yeah.
I am guilty of, sometimes if it made me laugh, I don't care. Like if like I get 900 dislikes on something, of course I'll be like, oh man, people hated it. But at the same time, if I'm smirking about it, like, it's just as good to me as if everybody liked it. So
And if you believe in it as much as you do, you know what I mean?
Like
Yeah.
you and Bailey doing JCS championship wrestling, man. I fucking love that.
I love doing that with him. I want to do more of those. He's actually definitely got to be sick today again because he hasn't spoken to me all day. He's been so damn sick.
I love
yeah,
your heel commentary, man. It is off the charts. Funny
I
as
know,
hell.
dude. I love doing it with him. I love being an idiot. And it's funny because I got to do it for real. Coincidentally, a couple weeks after we recorded a couple of those.
Oh, okay.
Because the commentator that I was working with at Top Row Promotions, he was like a full-on face and he talked a lot. And I was like,
Oh
well,
yeah.
I'm going to have to do heels. So I did the same thing I do with Bailey, but on there. So I'm like, I can't wait for the DVD to come out because I'm an asshole. Like, it's
Oh, that would be awesome.
That wasn't that the same show that you did with Matt Hardy?
no, that's not that one, but
Oh,
it's like it was like a couple. There's two of them actually, and I don't remember who was there for those shows, but it's gonna be funny when I hear it because the dude, he's a little bit of a goofball, and in fact
Yeah.
he's not. He said at one point, like, he was saying things he shouldn't have said. Like, he said something like, "This is all." He's like, "Well, he really sold that terribly," and I'm like, oh my god! Like, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Is he selling a car? I'm like, what do you mean? He's getting, like, oh, he's getting punched in the face, you idiot! This isn't the car sales lot where you work, and you don't sell a damn thing anyway. Like, so I just, like, throughout the whole thing, it's ridiculous, and like, so I'm dying for that DVD to come out. It's got to be coming out soon. But yeah, so I love the heel thing too. So that's funny that you mentioned that. I'd love to do more of those with Bailey because those crack.
Yeah, and I love how Dave Rose is like mediating between you and Bailey during the whole thing, man. It's just fucking amazing.
Dave
I
cracks
love
me.
how he don't. I mean, and at least in my opinion, I love how Dave don't play how he really is.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes it more entertaining for the fact of, like, I know in the back of his mind he wants to go, well, that sucked and this sucked, but the fact that he's giving you just a little bit of deviantness, you know what I mean? Just a little bit for him to react with Joe, because you can obviously, with all that stuff, you can obviously tell that Dave's all for Joe, but it's just the fact that, like, he's wild and crazy. Oh yeah, and all that kind of stuff like that. But I told him that it would be amazing, and I think I don't even know who I told this to. I think it was maybe Jake, because we're gonna try to have Jake DeMarco come on here too. But I mentioned something to Jake. I was like, I would love it for, like, in the middle of Joe's show for him to hit a button and it cuts to a promo of Dave. and all it is story time with Dave, where he
Yeah.
basically reads a book and tells you what is wrong with this book and either why it's not real or something like that, and then he just goes, I mean, sit him in like a chair real obnoxious with the fucking pipe and everything, you know what I mean, and just have him read a book and just be so condescending and be like, I can read this book, I'll read it to you because you guys can't read it because you're stupid, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that'd be so entertaining, you know what I mean.
That was like my joke about yeah, I know what you're saying though, but yeah, just to have the pipe and to be like, sit back and let me read this to you folks, since you're unable to do so for yourselves because you're incapable at damn
I have read this book probably 7 times since the cameras turned on because I am so intelligent and amazing and prolific, you know, or whatever in the hell it is, you know, just make it up and go. I know a while back I tried to, I had it like, and that was as crazy and nerdy as it sounds, like I had probably about 10 minutes worth of material, and I had different costumes and everything else, and all I wanted to do was I told Dave, I was like, Dave, you know what'd be funny to do? And he goes, what? And I said, the other night on Joe's show, because obviously I'm the one who calls in all the time, 513. But I told him, I said, man, it'd be so funny because I told Joe the other night when he was drunk on Monetize This that I was going to expose him for everything that he is, you know what I mean, as a joke. And I told him, I was like, I would love to come on Joe's show with some fucked up like voice and hairdo and all this other stuff and just literally try to put down Joe Cronin, try to put him down, but with stuff that I know can be traced back to facts. You know what I mean? Like saying, well, Joe, you're such a horrible person that you couldn't even be a father. No one would trust you to be a father. And then Joe would go, well, I am a father, jackass. And I'd go, all right, well, let's come back to that one. Joe, you're talking about wrestling and you've never wrestled, Joe. What kind of person talks about wrestling and never wrestled? And then Joe go, well, I used to wrestle, you motherfucker. I do know. You know what I mean? And just keep on going. And Dave was like, oh man, you should pitch that to Joe. And I was like, see, that's the thing. If I make a video and just send it to Joe and Joe don't like it, then Joe's gonna be like, fuck this guy. Who the fuck is this guy trying to, come
you
on
could
my
send me
show?
a video in the wig and stuff because it'd be funny because then I'd make fun of you in the video and stuff too. And
yeah, that's also what I thought of. I was like, well, if worst comes to worst, Joe just hates it. He's gonna be like, look at this retard, and you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, I like Broken Brother Cronin, by the way.
Yeah, I never know what to do with that. I'm like British sometimes, and sometimes I'm doing Hardy, then sometimes I'm just me. But yeah, I think Matt liked that too, because that's when Matt started like really paying attention to stuff when he saw
I'm
that.
coming. I'm coming. Get back in there. Give me like 10 minutes, and I'm good. Yeah. No, I don't want to do that. Last time I did that, I was so fucked up, and I'm on here with Joe, so I'm not gonna do that. All right.
Heroin?
No. He wants me to smoke a bong real quick, and I was like, dude, I can't, because if not, then all my questions are gonna be like, hey Joe, dude, so you did like
mac and cheese,
right? And you do, yeah. That's what I sound like when I'm fucking standing. That's why I never call in. It's all those times that Jake's like, call in and I'll tell Joe that you're on and we'll get you on, man. Like I really appreciate you giving me birthday shout outs and stuff like that. And it seems like every time that you're nice and you give me shout outs or say this and that, is the more shit I get.
Yeah, if you did that thing, you'd have people wanting to like break your head or something. They'd be like, because people take it seriously. That's why like Bailey and Dave the other day, they wanted to do this joke where we tell, because they were going to come back and monetize this before Bailey got sick, so it's going to be next week now. But they wanted to do this video, and I can say it now because we're not going to do it. But we're going to do this thing where like we all got in a fight and like we're about the show, and that's why we're not going to do it. But then we do it that night, and people will be like, "Whoa, they're But then I was like, "No, that's too similar to something that actually happened." I was like, "People will think I'm fucking crazy again." So let's not do that. And they'll want to kill. They'll take sides. They'll be mad at you guys. I was like, people will believe it. So I was like, we can't do that. I was like, it'd be great to work people and stuff, but
like fucking not just that, but people tell me that that like I don't deserve it because I'm not a Patreon, or I don't deserve it because Joe don't know me personally, or I don't deserve it because when was the last time you called, or you know what I mean, or when's the last time you did this, or when did you ever do anything for Joe? I haven't seen you donate, and what I try to tell people was like, man, sometimes it's not like that. You know what I mean? Like
Jesus Christ, people say that.
yeah,
Nuts.
like I mean, and that's what I think's funny. I'll message Jake sometimes because I feel like with you, as much shit as you get all the time, me messaging you, telling me or me telling you, oh hey, I've gotten shit for the last 10 days. You don't know me. I don't come on the show all the time. I don't call in all the time. But this is what I get for saying this. Like on my page, I try to put up your logo and tell people at the end of the show, hey, check out Joe Cronin because I like Joe Cronin. I've watched him forever. Go check him out. And I do the same thing with Super Ugly Show and Rue TV or JD and stuff like that. And people will come to me, well, how dare you say Joe's name out of your mouth? And I'm like, dude, I don't even have that many subscribers.
It's bizarre.
I'm nothing.
Yeah.
I am nobody to Joe. I'm a huge fan that tries to tweet people and and try to get him on because no matter what anyone says, you deserve to be on Sirius Radio or fucking Podcast
definitely.
One. I've always thought that, and I will continue to say that because it's some of the most entertaining stuff that's ever, like, in my opinion, ever been put out on YouTube. I could, when people tell me, well, I can listen to Joe all day long. There's a lot of people, not just me and Mike and you know, all these other people. A lot of people listen to you all day when they're at work, when they're waiting for their kid to go into the to get checked up in the doctor, or they're trying. You know what I mean? A lot of people do. So when people tell me, well, you shouldn't do, I'm like, fuck you, dude. If it takes if 10 more people watch Joe because it's people I know and they're my friends and they go, I'm gonna watch this. Well, what the hell is JCS? I don't know what the JCS Army is. What the fuck? And they go and look you up. Then I accomplished as much as at least in my heart, I accomplished just as much as somebody sending you $1 donation or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's how I
Anybody
feel.
out there, nobody has to do anything for sure. That's definitely not what it's ever been. So yeah, some people do get that stigma, like, and I can't even believe people say that to you.
Yeah,
But I
but
mean,
I mean, but you like Netflix, right?
oh yeah, I watch it.
And you pay $9.99 for Netflix, right?
Right,
Because it's entertainment. It's got entertainment on it.
right.
That's the way I and I get in fight with people all the time. Well, Joe's begging and he's doing this and that, and I was like, if you like the show, then you'll donate or you'll support him on Patreon. If you don't,
It's a
then
gimmick.
get
I
the
mean,
fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
it's a gimmick. It's like I mean, there was actually it started. The real reason it started was because if you started a year ago, you might not know, but like I don't know when you started listening, but if it was, I think it might have been 2 years ago now, almost. The real reason I started it was because I was literally doing YouTube too much, and we needed to make more money. I don't make, with all the kids and with everything going on, trying to get a house, we need to get out of here. It's been years I've been trying to save, and it hasn't worked out, and all the stuff and the bills that I owed and all these things. So I said, I'm just going to have to get a part-time job. I'm going to go pump gas for like 15, 20 hours a week. So what I was going to do was just do 1 or 2 shows a week on my channel, which was what I started doing. And I was like, well, guys, I'm going to be getting a part-time job. So I'm going to be doing the Raw review, and then I'll be doing a pay-per-view review when they happen, and maybe one other podcast I'll try to release every week. But that's what I'm doing right now. And then people would start saying, like, why don't you create a GoFundMe and things like that? And I was like, well, I felt weird about a GoFundMe because I saw GoFundMe's as like, oh, we lost our house or we lost our kid, so I was like, I don't really want to do a GoFundMe. I was like, I feel like I don't really deserve that. I mean, I don't understand, and nobody's going to donate to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened to me then is I'm a big fan of Boogie2988 and a couple other Twitch guys. And I was up late one night watching him, and every once in a while I would donate to him because I enjoy his content, and I'm a big fan of him, and he gets me through. He would get me through times I would listen to his show, and so I would throw him $5. And what I realized one night was I was like, Jesus, every time he goes live, he makes like $500 every time, or $1,000 every time. And I was like, this is crazy. He's got like a couple million subs.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do it?
So I started thinking, I was like, maybe I could do something like this where it would be fun, like where like somebody would donate and then, it would be exciting to see something pop up and say something. So it's like you're a part of the show. I was like, that could be fun. And I was like, maybe I'll try doing that. That looks cool. I was like, maybe I can make a couple bucks that way. Maybe I make $20 a night or something. That would cover the part-time job pretty much, and I wouldn't have to get a part-time job. So I was like, cool. So I came on. I said, hey, everybody, I got this live donation thing. If you guys want to donate live, that's cool. We'll see how it goes. And within like I think within 3 weeks, I had decided. I said, if this keeps going this way, I don't think I have to get the part-time job. I think I can keep doing what we're doing. And everybody said, everybody seemed to like it. Then there was a lot of people. Then there was the people who didn't like it as much. I think people liked it, loved it then because the donations were every once in a while. Like there was a $20 donation once every 30 or 40 minutes. Now they're going off like crazy. But
Yeah.
and that's the thing that sets people off a little bit. But I just tell them, well, if you like a serious wrestling podcast, try to watch State of the WWE because it's an hour or two and it's just us talking. There's no commercials. Well, there might be ads, but there's no donation interruptions. But here's the thing: is when it took off, I just added more shows because I said, hey, the more we make, the more I'm going to try to work for everybody. And so at the time, I was only doing Raw reviews. Once in a while, I would do a SmackDown, but I was pretty much only doing, I was doing like half as much on YouTube as I do now. Now it's like live after Monday night, live after Tuesday night SmackDown, live on Wednesday for Out of Nowhere, live on Thursday for TNA Impact, monetize this on Friday, and then recording a couple podcasts in between that for these other channels or other things that I do. So, we've expanded big time because this is a big time part-time job. The people are literally funding my show. So more than YouTube. YouTube is okay, but the people are really funding the show. It's unbelievable I just can't believe that I get this kind of support from people.
And when you grow, I think that, we all grow, especially as fans. I think I said something on the WrestleMania show because I called in. It was pretty much right before that the guy started like flipping out on you, calling you an e-bagger and whatever. I was the call right before that where I was like, man, I saw that sign in the crowd and it's like, it's more, I know it's like great for you, obviously, but like when I saw the sign, the first thing I thought it was like, hey, we did it, and I know I'm not part of the we, but as the JCS Army, I feel like, man, we find like, when was the last time we watched a WrestleMania and saw a Joe Cronin sign throughout the whole entire thing? I don't think, I've seen a few of them, but when I saw that, it hit you so much. And I don't understand why people wouldn't want to support you. It'd be like seeing Teddy Goods, and at the end of it, Teddy being like, hey, if you look around in this room, there might be some stuff that you might be able to buy that would help me out, but that's only the one time I'm saying it. And I'm sitting there going, well, if you like him enough, you buy his T-shirts, you donate, you do this, you do that. If you don't like Netflix, then don't pay for it. If you don't like, if you don't want to be a brand member with Russo, don't do it. If you don't want to donate and you don't want to be a Patreon of Joe's show, then don't do it. But the people that do it, they feel like they're part of this as it is with you, which I know it's not as much as you, obviously, because you're the man. But they kind of they feel like, oh, hey man, like I'm giving to a business that I'm getting good stuff in return, and that's the part of it. Certain people are like that, and then it's whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm like that. I just know that I'm like that with other people. I want to support it, or I want to get a T-shirt, or if I saw my favorite band sign it, if I saw a band I like sign in the crowd, I mark out for that. If I saw like somebody put up a band sign and it's like I talked about Typo Negative or Stabbing West or Nine Inch Nails, I'd be like, whoa, somebody has a T-shirt from 19. I'd freak out too. Just anything you like, if you see it on a big stage, you are proud of it. That like I listen to that, and holy shit, someone else has that. It's on my TV right now.
So your appreciation for things have not changed over the years? You're still as appreciative as you have when you started it?
WrestleMania thing was recent. So, like 3 years, the last year and a half has been the first time I've really noticed signs. We've really had signs show up like they have. But the WrestleMania one blew me away. I really, I was unbelievably blown away by the WrestleMania one. I was like almost crying. Like I was like, wow, somebody took that to WrestleMania and had it up so long. Like I couldn't even believe it. So like that was so cool for me. Like I was like, this is unbelievable. I still gotta, I speak with him all the time about it because he's got the sign still and stuff. And I'm like, that guy is just awesome. In fact, I forget about him too much. Sometimes I want to write him stuff and I forget. But that guy, he made a huge impact on me because I just couldn't. That was a huge, like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things you get really bogged down with stuff like, should I just, I'm still doing this and whatever.
And
then
that's
when
how
you
I mean, and honestly, that's how I felt. And if
yeah,
it wasn't for, and that's what I mean, that's the thing that a lot of people just don't see is that how much positive and good things that you give to people. You know what I mean? Like if I have not have seen that message that you replied to me, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be a fan of wrestling. Honestly, if it wasn't for you, and I'm not just speaking for me. I'm speaking for Mike. I'm speaking for a lot of
Yep.
people. That if it wasn't for
Yep.
you and JD, I don't think we'd be into wrestling as much as we were. And I think it's the same thing for you. I mean, I don't think that you'd be so much into wrestling podcasts and stuff like that if it wasn't for other podcasts and other, people making it interesting and just worth listening to and watching. I'm not quite sure what happened. I'm going to try to call Joe back real quick, okay? Sorry about that, guys.
there
I
we
think
go.
I
I'm back.
lost I had really bad Wi-Fi. Oh, Joe's back.
I'm good. Yeah, I didn't realize I got dropped out. I got like maybe like 5 or 10 more minutes left, I think. But I'd come back on it again for another one. But yeah, I think like 5-10
Dude,
minutes.
you don't know. Like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm just kissing everybody's ass, man. But like you even coming on for 5 minutes, man, means a lot to me. I think that when it comes to these little YouTube channels and stuff like that, there's just so much hate, and a lot of times I'm like, I don't know why we all just don't come together and try to help out the little man, and stuff like that. Because I've literally had people tell me, oh, well, when you get up to 5,000 subscribers, hit me up. And these are people that I tell them, I'm just like, so wait, you won't come on my show because I don't have 5,000 subs? And they're just like, yeah. And I'm like, you got 200 followers on Twitter. I even have more followers on Twitter than you. Well, it don't matter. You need to pay me this. You need to do this, and you need to do that, and you need to make sure this is set up better, and this and that. Which I get that because they want to make sure the show looks good and stuff for them. But
I never got that shit. Dude, I came across that all the time. I never got it. I do think that some people start thinking like, because so many channels start asking you to do whatever, and there's like 500 or 1,000 people or 300 subs, and sometimes YouTubers will be like, "Can you hear me still?"
yeah, Mike got added back on the call. I don't know why he exited out either, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
I didn't exit out. It kicked me out for some reason.
Skype sucks.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
I've had issues with Skype all night. But go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry, man, for interrupting you.
Sorry,
this
Joe.
does
Go
this
ahead.
to me. No, it's okay. It does it to me on the live shows.
Yeah.
But no, I think sometimes it's like, well, I worked really hard to get here, so like I'm not gonna just, people think they just don't want to go boost you up or something, because to them it's a collab. Like when I started though, it wasn't. It was just honestly, I'm trying to get people to come on my show to do interviews. That's all. I just want to. I tried to get bands, try to get people on, and it was an honest type of deal. So it's like it was an honest situation where I just want to have people come on, but the bigger YouTubers look at it as you're trying to mooch off my subscribers, and there's nothing in it for me. And not even that, but that you didn't work. Like I worked years to get some subs, and you haven't or something. But I just do anything. I don't give a shit. Like these people, you see wrestlers, big wrestlers going on podcasts with 50 people, and then some of them don't come on mine, and it's not even because they know me or my content. I just caught them at the wrong time and shit. So no, I mean, I was just there, 2012 I had 80 subs, you know what I mean, on here, and in 2013 I had 200.
I had close to, what was it, Mike? I had close to I think, I can't even remember how much I had, but I had close to like, I think I had close to like 80 or 90 or something. And then when that stuff happened with the guy that used to be on your show, I'll just say that. The guy that used to come on your show every now and then, Joe. When that stuff happened, literally, I had 50 people unsubscribe to me, and I was, well, why is anyone unsubscribing to me? I said, I'm about to get 100. I'm really excited. This is real cool. And it was the same thing. It's because you support Joe Cronin and you support people making fun of people and all this other garbage. And I was like, man, it's not worth it to me. I didn't get into who in the fuck is this? Oh,
Yeah,
that's something else I'll talk to you about later. One of my buddies, he works for a radio station, and it's called Deep Talk Radio.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, I really want guests on. I don't care what we talk about. And I've been telling him, I was like, man, it's Joe Cronin guy, man. You need to get on your show. And he's like, well, what does he do? What does he do? And I told him, I was like, I told him how crazy and cool you were and stuff like that. And the first thing he said to me was, well, I mean, I just, I don't, well, that'd be fine. But I mean, yeah, you gotta tell him that it's all, it just goes everywhere. I cuss and I say this and I say that. And I was like, let me send you a copy of Joe's show first, so you know exactly what you're getting into. Because I think this guy thought maybe that if you had him on, that you'd be like, please, thank you, sir, and and all this other stuff, and not go all crazy. I think he wants that crazy person. So
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, yeah, I've been trying. When you mentioned earlier, like the radio and all that stuff, and yeah, I've tried that for years, but it's it's hard because a lot of people want a degree in something, a certain degree. And while I have experience in going to college for lots of things, and I worked at a radio station there for a little bit in college, it's different. It's different out there. I mean, it's possible someone sees, but they want safe people too on the radio and FCC. But yeah, I mean, Sirius Satellite or something would be great for me. I just don't know how to work into that, so I don't know if that would ever happen. So. But I mean, I've honestly had so much success on YouTube that it's better than most of the AM or some of the radio hosts on the radio don't do as well as we're doing on YouTube right now. So we get better listening amounts on YouTube than radio stations do. It's kind of crazy.
And I agree. That's why I said I was going to start the petition, and I am, and I'm going to send it all over the fucking world, and I'm going to do it. For real, like you have to be on Podcast One. You have to be on Sirius Radio. You have to be on something like that, man, because you're one of the best entertaining shit on YouTube. Got more views and fucking subscribers than half these motherfuckers, and yet you're not. And that to me just just blows my mind, because I've mentioned several times to Vince, like, hey, get Joe on the Realm Network. I will pay $3 like you do. Well, I'll pay $5. I was like, I'll pay $5 a month, which is the same thing Joe would probably be doing anyway, to have you on the Realm Network, and it'd be amazing. And like I said, maybe it's just one of those because of the rage, or maybe because of the maybe two rated R, if you want to say, or whatever in the hell you want to put it.
That's the thing about that though too, is like I've said to other people, I mean, like, it's not like if Vince Russo is like, I'd like you to report on my channel for this or that, I mean, I would obviously wouldn't give him Joe Cronin show, I mean, I would give him a PG show or whatever that consists. I mean, he has the guys from what's it called,
Super Ugly Show.
I love those guys, and those guys are very similar to stuff that we like. So Super Ugly, they're not the cleanest thing, so I mean, I would.
I know they've told me personally a few times that they really wanted to, and some of that, I don't know if it's just promotion and they don't give a fuck. I mean, but either way, it'd still be cool, because they, I know John's messaged me a few times like, man, I'd like to come on Joe's show and talk about wrestling and all this other stuff. And I was like, man, that's partially why I tweet people and stuff like that, because it's really, really cool. Like when I tweeted Ed Ferrara, telling him that he needed to come on the show, and then right after that, you messaged him and was like, "Yeah, you should do that. You haven't done that yet." And to me, that's like I feel like I just
you initiated that, but
but it's not that I initiated. It's just like I'm a fan, and that's what I want to see. And if I would want to see it, obviously a lot of other people do. Like I love your interviews with Kenny Bolin. I absolutely love them. They're so fucking entertaining, and just the fact that even Kenny. That's what we were talking about, people that just don't give a fuck about subs and stuff. Kenny's messaged me several times, even though I had to tell him what YT meant, because I said, oh, you should come on my YT channel. And he said, well, I'll come on, but I don't even know what the hell YT is. But but I told him, I was like, you don't even care how many people I have or what I do. And he's like, no, you're from Cincinnati. I'm from Louisville. I think that's where he said he was from, Louisville. And he's like, I don't care how. I mean, and if you're really interested in knowing what I have done and what I've offered or what I think, then why does it matter? Because he's like, if I could change one person's life, then that's all that matters. You know what I mean? If one person listens to my show and goes, well, I don't, it's not the greatest show, but I heard Joe on there the other day, and he said, to go out there and take your dreams on, and or go down the journey. I said that earlier. I'm not trying to make fun of punk, but go down the journey and the evolution, and then when it comes down, you guys are gonna make me cry, man.
It was clear to me that he should be. When I heard him say that, he should be doing speeches for middle schools, not fighting in UFC.
I was so pissed off when I heard the fight after the promo afterwards. I was completely fine with. But when he sat down in the press conference and was doing you guys are going to make me cry because I did. I was like, Punk, man. Now people are going to prove the point that, hey, you were never supposed to be here anyway. You're a pussy. You're crying. No one else cries when they fucking get their ass beat. They just get up and they say, hey, you got me good, but I'll get you next time, or I'll show you people. He didn't do that. He just cried.
He's a little broken inside, and that's what it is. And so he's an emotional person who doesn't show it on the outside.
He might need to smoke. Maybe he needs to take some of those X's off of him and smoke a cigarette or a doobie or something.
He was rendered obsolete.
Well, Joe, I mean, I really appreciate you coming on, man. I know you're a busy man, and you got a lot of stuff going on and stuff like that. But just the fact that you would take the time to talk to me and Mike,
oh yeah, man,
means a lot. And like I said, if it's still cool with you, I'll still continue to put the logo. I actually took the JCS Army logo because I thought it was badass. And all I did is it don't say oh, I love Cronin, cocksucking, it don't say nothing like that. All it just says JCS Army. And if like I said, I'll continue to support you and stuff like that, man. And
oh hell
I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me. Like, no words can explain, man, how much that means to me and Mike and to everybody else that listens and stuff. Just to show people that you don't have to be 10,000 subscribers as long as you got a good heart and you got good things to talk about. Then and you support the person. Then that's all it's about.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it's all about. And friends and stuff like that is why, I've made friends with some of the people I have. So, I mean, like, everybody, and you guys are just as exciting to talk to people who listen. I don't do it enough. I hear Twitter and stuff like that. But I get a lot of people be like, hey, want to come on, do an interview? And sometimes things fall through and stuff. But I've done probably like, 40 or something like that. And I love doing it because I get to hear like what this is how I felt about your show and how I felt about this or that. It doesn't always come off in writing on comments on YouTube videos so well. So yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's really cool like that I get to hear from everybody. I'll come on anytime. Like it's fun. I just picture everyone as friends. I don't even see like
same here. That's why I didn't want to because obviously I wrote down I'm not even joking. I wrote down about 26 questions, and then I was like, okay, what questions out of these has he heard 1,000 fucking times? So I exited out of those, and then after I got back to that, I was like, you probably don't want to talk about, hey Joe, what'd you think of SmackDown or what'd you think of Raw? So I was like, maybe if I can get him to talk about some of the music because we were both big metal heads. Maybe he'd be interested in talking about some music, or maybe the interaction with his fans, or what was, I don't even know what Mike. I think Mike kind of dropped the ball in the first question he asked you, but.
Well, I mean, I like the ones that you asked because it was different. But I mean, honestly, most interviews, maybe there was like two interviews I did that were pretty good. They were like 20 minutes long. But I mean, most of the times when I'm coming on someone's thing, it never goes right. Like it's never like I never get really deep questions about anything. I just get like, oh, it's just all good. It's not very. This is probably one of the better ones I've ever done. Maybe the best one.
Oh, really?
Because you guys asked all these questions about backgrounds and stuff, which was really good.
Yeah.
Whereas like I normally get the I start doing my show on someone else's show is what happens usually.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no, that's right. I mean, so you did the right. That's definitely the right thing. It's one of the This is my top third funnest one because we talked about other stuff that no one's heard about.
Wow.
Does this mean
I bet you most of those questions you wrote down though, I bet you I haven't answered them because people just don't ask. People have asked very generic things before, like about nothing really. So that's pretty cool.
All right. Shawn, favorite Shawn Michaels attire.
I liked his well, there was two of them. First, I liked his old school, just the plain white with the red hearts. I just like those the original ones, like maybe like WrestleMania 10 ones. But I
Yeah.
also really liked and I liked all his variations. So I don't know. I marked out whenever he did something a little bit different as a kid and even older, like when he did the blue pants during the blue ones with the hearts
Yes,
during
yes,
the
those were so cool and different. Those, I mean, especially since he was doing the white and red ones for a
yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Right, and then when he did the green DX ones, he never did that before, and I loved the green and black
Oh yeah.
DX pants when he switched to that. I never liked when he switched to the like baggy new pants. I like the old tights because I like his ass.
So you
Not
so you, so you didn't like the blue jeans and the cowboy boots?
oh, you know what? I mean, I enjoyed that too because again, that was different.
It's
I was
different. Yeah,
worried, though.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
when I was watching it, the first thing I thought of, I was like, Terry Funk. That's like
Yeah,
that's a Terry Funk, old school Terry Funk, attire. But like just
Yeah.
the fact that it made it so cool because he hasn't wrestled and it's an unsanctioned match. So
His
Yeah.
just
attire
wear
from
your
WrestleMania 25 was probably one of the best.
25. Oh yeah, okay. So I like the John no the one before his last year. Was
Hmm.
20 no 25 was his last WrestleMania, right? No,
Yeah.
26 was. 26 was.
so
Yeah.
so Mike's
26.
talking about the 25th one.
Yeah.
Oh,
His
okay.
first match with Undertaker.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. And
I
half these questions, Cronin, I got from another guy that probably messaged you and hit you up all the time. His name's DJ or Setheatsmycock.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Oh man, that's the reason why he's not on, because he's like,
Yeah.
oh, Joe's gonna be on. I'm gonna do it. And the first thing was like, I want to know how Joe, or what do you say, how big Joe's dick was, and I was like, okay, not coming on.
Exactly.
Not coming on now.
Nope.
I'm game for that. I've had one like that. That was fun though. Like he was like, "Oh, big dick. Have you ever like had sex with a dog?" And I was like, "No, I tried. It didn't work." No, like, I'm game for anything like that. I don't get weird about like anything at all. Like I used to think that too. Like when I asked people things, I was worried I was gonna. I don't care about anything. Like if it's goofy, it's goofy. If it's serious, it's serious. And if it's both, it's good. And
Yeah.
I'm game for everything and everything. You know.
Is there anything that maybe I can get exclusive before you leave? Like, is there like any type of guests that are coming on maybe here in the future, or is there besides Top Pro Rope Promotions and Triggered by Rage and stuff like that? Is there anything coming up that the JCS Army needs to look out for?
Well, we're definitely gonna get Matt and Jeff Hardy, so
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
that'll be the
Yes.
biggest thing. I mean, obviously you can come out and see me in Matt Hardy on the 21st in October, but at Top Row Promotions in Fall River, Massachusetts. But we're probably gonna get something going with them, so they'll probably be on. That's a big thing. Um, and really, that's it right now. I think. I mean, there's gonna be some more people from TNA showing up. Mike Bennett's gonna come do a Q&A, like take.
Yeah, I loved his first interview with you, by the way.
Yes, if you remember that one, like we wanted to take calls, but Skype was broken, so
Oh yeah,
he's
definitely remember that.
I got him coming on maybe in the next couple of weeks to do a Q&A call-in show.
Oh,
So
okay.
that'll be cool.
Awesome.
And that's yeah, I mean really that's for the most part it. I mean the one thing I could say is that I'm going to be having an actual wrestling match at some point soon, so that'll be kind of
Oh,
That's
okay.
great.
that-
Are you? Is that going to be taped? Is that something that we'll be able that you'll maybe put on YouTube or something like that?
that will be yeah, it'll be definitely on YouTube, and I don't know yet exactly if it's going to be live. But I'll be live. I will be live. So you can, I'm just working on which place to go and what we're gonna do. There's a couple different promotions I could do it at. What happened was I started asking a couple of the promoters about the ring and having a match and filming it for like a skit thing that I was gonna do, like the bear. And then eventually, one of the promoters said to me, he goes, "Well, why don't we book it?" He's like, "Because you'll probably draw some people." I'm like, well, he's like, some of the wrestlers that are going to be here don't have
Everybody
one.
loves the bear.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I can fight the bear. And he's like, no, why don't you just get to wrestle a person? But then I pulled, and we started talking about October. But then I ripped my hamstring or whatever I did the other day. And
Yeah.
so I don't know if I'd be ready in time. Like, I'm feeling a lot better now, but I even tweaked, it's a lot better than it is right now, but I definitely seem to have ripped the muscle or something when I was running. And so I need to do more working out. And I've been working out for the last month slowly, And so I'm
Yeah.
trying to get, I'm pretty much, I'm trying to get back in shape so I can jump in the ring and do something a little crazy. And so that should be fun. I don't know.
Who are you gonna be wrestling?
I have no idea yet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but I mean, I know a bunch of wrestlers who would do it
Yeah.
if it's not somebody that's important, like that everybody would recognize. That was
Yeah.
terrible. Not someone important. Yeah, come on, John Mason, you're not important. Fuck you. No, what I meant is it's not someone who's a name that everybody knows. It would
Oh, okay.
be it would be, you know, like any wrestler that is newer or local or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would probably would wrestle with me and have a match with me.
James Ellsworth.
James, yeah, we could call him up. That would be really.
He probably would do it too, man.
That would be
He
that.
probably
That
would
might.
do it in a second.
That's a great idea. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
do him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I will.
James and the bear versus Joe and the deer.
You will. I have another thing. You're probably gonna see me in Grimm's Toy Show do something. You're gonna see me show up in his
Oh,
back
awesome, man.
fairly soon. Yeah.
That's the one I was hoping that you would
I
would
loved
say.
when he done that run in with Kurt Hawkins at Wrestle Pro.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now,
Copyright
Sales.
infringement. I said it here. Copyright infringement.
yeah, it's weird too because Kurt Hawkins knows me, so like I
I
don't.
know. That's
Oh,
the first thing
really?
I thought was I was sitting there going, I was like, I'm pretty sure him and Joe's messaged a lot, and then because of his of Grimm
Yeah.
and stuff like that, you would think that Grimm would have been like, like, hey,
Yeah.
you know Joe,
Or
right?
should I say
"Oh, yeah, I
Brian
know
Myers
Joe. Well,
now."
you know his shirts say fact, right? Well, I don't really care.
The
He's
first thing I did was because I tweeted Tyson Kidd and I said, "How's it feel now, bitch?" And I wrote hashtag fact.
oh, that's awesome.
I was like, hey, I may be mad that you stole it from me originally. And,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, but that was before everything. I go, but he's stealing from a cripple, you know. Like, poor Tyson Kidd. I don't even know why he follows me anymore. He's like, what is wrong with you?
And
But
Kurt Hawkins is stealing from Chuck Norris.
yeah, I mean, he's combining Chuck Norris and Joe Cronin together.
Exactly.
And people were like, people still rag on me because people don't know. That's why I don't say it as much anymore because no matter what I do, it doesn't matter. If I say
Yeah.
fact, I've had people be like, oh, so you ripped off Tyson Kidd, big deal. You ripped off Tyson Kidd. I'm like, well, I came out with it a year before Tyson Kidd did. So just, you got things a little backwards here. And
Exactly.
I said it randomly on the show because of something at the end. I thought I would be obnoxious and say hashtag fact. And then
Fact.
people just started writing it everywhere and sending me hashtag facts. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then to have 8 months later, it just some guys start using it on TV. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Get your own shit, man. Get your own shit, Tyson.
This is all
Like
I
you can't
have.
tell me WWE's not watching yours and JD show and taking some of y'all's ideas. You can't tell me that.
Hey, all I have to say to that, Mike, is I can't give you the name of the person or he'll never, ever, ever talk to me again. But someone that I know that does some interviews and stuff with WWE superstars, they've
Yeah.
Oh,
told
yeah?
me he's told me over and over and over that a good portion of the WWE I think he first said it ROH first and then
Yeah.
WWE and then TNA being the most. But
Yeah.
they said they do watch Joe's show and they do watch JD's show.
You can't tell me they
Now the
don't.
guy would not tell me. I tried to get him to tell me which wrestlers it was because if anything, I can go to Joe and say, "Hey, I know this wrestler does. I have no proof, but I know this wrestler listens to it." And
Yeah.
maybe Joe can
Right.
reach out to him and maybe get him on the show or something like that. But he
Yeah.
just kept on telling me, he's like, "Man, I can't tell you, or
Yeah.
if I told you, then I had to tell anybody. I'm trying to be nice because it's your birthday." And, it just give you something that's cool. And I was like, yeah, I know. But that to me is it's really cool because it does. They have to be. They absolutely have to fucking be. Like especially since if you
Yep.
have which one was it? Was it not Dewey? Was it
Oh,
Dewey?
Mickey Foley.
Mickey, yeah. I was watching the show when Mickey was, and I guarantee you this: that if he could, without his dad or anybody else getting mad, he probably would call in and talk wrestling and stuff with you. But I think
Yeah.
because of his involvement with his family and stuff like that, there's no way that he could do that. But that being said, that's one of the people that then I actually told him, I said, well, I figure he watched the show or whatever. He said, I'm pretty sure Mick and Noel watched the show. And I said, Joe's show? And I was like, why don't, and I was getting so pissed off. I was like, if they do, then why don't they fucking say something? And why don't they, come on Joe's show? It's bullshit. And they were just like, well, they can't because Joe gets on there and says, well, hey, Raw sucks. And then after that, it's going to be like, Raw sucks. And this segment sucked. And I really enjoyed this. And this person sucks at this. All right. Speaking of that, Noel Foley's on the show. Hey, no. Yeah.
I think Vince has watched some of the shows, probably.
Oh, Russo has. He told me in a DM a couple times he has.
Yeah, yep. Vince Russo
and Vince McMahon.
I don't know if Vince is, but maybe somebody. I don't know. That'd be wild. I really, out of everybody.
What is this sub? What is this JCS? I keep on hearing so much about.
What is this idiot? What?
JCW? I don't watch those clown. Oh, JCS? I don't even know what that is either.
Vince is working out. He ain't listening to shit. He's in a fucking gym.
He's off tearing something.
Yeah.
He tore a quad the other day in the gym. That's why he wasn't on Raw Monday night.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. He's got to get the operation now. It's like, whoa. Yeah. They had to report on it. But it is wild who listens to it. And I eventually I piss everyone off because I'm going to criticize somebody. So that's one thing that works against me too is, I don't go out there and, look for a job. A lot of guys do that. They look for a job. So they're trying to be careful with what they say. Yeah. I'm not really that careful with what I say. So unfortunately somebody may be like, oh, he said he criticized me once, but most likely I praised them before too.
Oh,
but they only heard the criticize. I
don't know how many times I've tweeted to WWE to hire you and JD for creative.
Yeah, it's awesome when I see those. It's great. I'm sure they are aware. And the more it happens, I'm sure the more it gets looked at. Look at WWE they put my Tough Enough video up on YouTube. That's still something.
Yeah, I seen that the other day.
It's still up there too, ain't it?
Yeah, it's still up there.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I couldn't believe it. And they got it. Because, I thought about making a real serious video, but then I thought, man, there's so many people who are like, I got kids, I'm doing this for my kids, and I grew up and blah. And I was gonna make real emotional type of thing about it, and I'm gonna be whatever. But I just felt that I'm not in shape right now. I'm not on the indie scene anymore right now. I'm not in shape. Yeah. It wouldn't be serious. I was like, so I'm just gonna go with a comedy video, and. Yeah. That was my point, was to make something funny. And the whole thing was, most of it was to get to that punchline at the end. And they got it, I guess. So it was great. The only other one that I loved that was comedy was the guy who was like, I'm 30 years old and I'm in quite possibly the worst shape of my life.
Yeah.
I love that guy. But I can't, if you go to their app, if you still go to the Tough Enough app, it's hilarious. There's only 6 videos in each category and I'm still on there. And I think it's fun.
Yep.
So there, I made it to WWE. That was it.
Yeah. Yep. There you go.
Hey, that's better than nothing, right?
That's
But you know what? I'm gonna keep doing the commentary on the indies, and we'll see where that goes. It's already led to other jobs and other things.
Joe, that's awesome.
Joe, you just need to keep on sending them Tough Enough videos.
Just keep doing it like it's
over and over to Road Dogg. Just be like, I want to be a wrestler, Road Dogg. I want to be just like you. I want to shake, rattle, roll. You
know what, dude? You just convinced me. I'm gonna make a video like that tonight. And you know what I'm gonna do is, I promise you, you're gonna see it and you're gonna be like, I told him to do that. I'm gonna be like doing the shake, rattle, roll, and then I'll turn around and I'll run into a wall and fall over.
It'll be the next video. Send him another one that's just like, I really want to be part of DX. DX is my favorite group. Can I be an honorary member of DX? And just go and just everything. Be like, hey, I wrote a song just like yours, and then play the country song and be like, we should start a country group together, Road Dogg.
I should have you write for me. These are great. I'm gonna do this. Dude. I'm gonna. You know what I'll do is I'm gonna do the crotch chop, and when I do the crotch chop, I'll hit myself in the balls. So I'll go, and I'll grab my balls, and I'll be like, hit myself in the balls, and I hit myself in the dick.
And just go around humping stuff. Be like, my finisher's coming up. My finisher's coming up, and just start humping. Hump the bear, and then.
Well, my favorite finisher was when I did the Eva Marie thing with the wig on, and I did. Do the sidewalk. Then I had the guy.
Oh
like,
yeah, that was fucking funny as hell. There.
Relaying the
when you do
moves
the
to her.
video, put on a wig and try to see if Leah or someone will braid it. And then when you can be like, I'm hip, Road Dog. I got the braids just like you. I can crotch chop. I can shake, rattle, roll. I can do it all, Road Dog. Please give me a chance. I ran 1 mile yesterday. Or what? You just go.
I
I
put
drank
that.
3 waters, and they were vitamin waters too, Road Dog. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, talking about shake, rattle, and roll. Honky Tonk Man made a cameo on Lucha Underground Wednesday night.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I gotta check that out. I still gotta watch
I
more
bet the
of it.
ratings went up with that one.
Oh yeah.
I gotta get Chavo back on again.
Elvis is alive. He's alive. He's in Lucha.
No, all the fucking luchas are probably like, these gringos are still dressing like this.
Why are they wearing all one jump piece suits? I haven't seen that since forever.
Yeah. Man, Donald Trump really is gonna kick us out. This is crazy.
He might build a wall outside of Lucha Underground. I don't know.
Yeah, Joe, you should start doing a Lucha Underground review.
I know. I want to. If I had more time, I probably would. I do gotta run actually now. Speaking of time, but dude, you guys hit me up again sometime. I'll come on again, no doubt. It's fun.
Hell yeah, man.
Definitely, man. Like I said, I try to get through on your shows and stuff. I'll do what I always do, man. I'll call and Skype 25,000 times until I get through. You know what I mean?
I've tried to get on, but I know there's so many callers coming in. I totally understand.
Which is good though. If I'm not getting through and there's only 100 people, then I'd be like, "Come on, Joe." But if I'm not getting through and there's 2,000 people, I'm like, "Fuck yeah, this is awesome." I can't get through because fucking Joe.
Sucks. Still sucks to keep calling. I call radio shows my whole forever, and it sucks, dude. You dial in and you give up eventually, but it's like, oh man, I really got to get on. And if I had a better system, I probably could do it. But dude, keep dialing. I'll look for the 513 a little more. And yeah, everything is cool.
When you see 870, that'll be me.
All right, 870.
Who gives a fuck about that? Anyways, Joe. I'm just joking, Mike.
I know.
Yeah, man.
I know, man. I'm having a fucking blast, man.
Yeah, this has been amazing, man. Like, yeah, definitely,
yes,
Joe. I'll definitely get a hold of you, man. And like I said, I'm still gonna get a hold of people to get on your show, and still support the show as much as I can. And I really appreciate it, man. It means a lot.
Yeah, no, thank you guys very much, and have a good night, and hit me up again, and I'll do it again. Saturday nights are a good night, so I appreciate it.
All right, man. I really appreciate it, Joe. Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, you too, Joe.
All right, and link me your shit later too, so I remember too. Link it on Twitter.
Yeah, I will definitely.
All right.
Okay, I'll send you my stuff too.
All right, cool. Yeah, but send me everything so that I know I'll remember it tonight later on.
All right, I appreciate it, Joe. Thank you, Brandon.
All right, have a good night,
man. Appreciate it.
Good night, guys.
Night.
Woo!
That is awesome.
Oh my god, dude.
And if you didn't watch this interview later, it will be up. Please go watch it. I had the best time with Joe Cronin on here. We talked about some amazing shit. I'm gonna try to send him the link and stuff tonight or as soon as it uploads.
Dude, I thought the Dave Rose show was awesome, and it was awesome. Don't get me wrong, it was fucking amazing. But this one.
It's kind of like shooting the breeze with a wrestler, like with an indie wrestler that you really appreciate and that you want to see succeed.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? You appreciate everything that they do, and it's really awesome. So
I had mad respect for Joe before this, but now, oh dude.
I've always had mad respect for Joe, but
oh yeah, definitely.
Anybody or everybody, this is a Saturday Night Throwdown. Definitely hit the like and subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna be putting out some other stuff here coming up here soon, and want to also give a quick shout out to Super Ugly Show. Hit them up on Twitter, Rue TV also on Twitter and on YouTube, and also go and follow and like everything that Joe Cronin does on Twitter at Joe Cronin Show, And definitely check out his website. It's joecroninshow.net.
Oh yeah,
Definitely get a hold of him and watch his stuff. It's amazing. Really appreciate him coming on there. Hit me up on Twitter at 420 Wrestling Pod. That's POD. And also get a hold of Michael Berlin. He's on Twitter too at JeterFan35. Definitely check us out. Thanks to DJ also for coming on. DJ knows why I didn't have him on the show
Exactly.
when Joe was on here, because I wanted to, make it fun and stuff, which it was fun, but I didn't want to talk about Joe's penis and Seth Rollins' penis and all this other stuff. But definitely check me out on Twitter and YouTube. This has been an amazing Saturday Night Throwdown. Last Saturday Night Throwdown we had Devious Dave Rose, and this one we had Joe Cronin. Just want to say thank you to Joe for coming on, and I'll see you guys next time, definitely. And hopefully this time I'll be a little bit buzzed, so it'll be a little bit more entertaining, and I'll be a little bit more crazy. So
I'm actually buzzed right now.
Say what?
I said I'm actually buzzed right now on beer.
Oh hell yeah, Michael's been drinking some beer. But yeah, just like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate everybody that supported me and hits me up on Twitter, asks me questions about wrestling or favorite matches that I've ever seen or this and that and stuff. I really appreciate it. I'm about to roll out. I will call you, Mike, on your phone as soon as I get done with this, okay?
Awesome, brother.
All right. See you guys. And this is Saturday Night Throwdown.
Yeah.